Martin from Eurogamer. Welcome to the EGX developer sessions on the final day of EGX. Thank you so much for joining us. Here for a special presentation, one I'm really looking forward to. I had a chance to play this the other day, and it's awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Toby from Any Entertainment to take you through Ater.
This is awkward. Cheers, man. Ah, man. Hello, everybody. All right, this is my first time ever doing something like this, so apologize for anything that sounds a bit off. I'm a bit nervous too, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm from Enemy Entertainment. I'm Toby. I'm the programmer. We also have an artist as well. His name's David Wright. He's sitting somewhere in the crowd, but I won't tell you where. And this talk is about generally like a summary of what we had to go through and how we got to where we are now. So I'm sorry there wouldn't be any gameplay clips or any gameplay things like that, but if you do want to check it out, we are in the Indie Mega booth, so you can come and play it. So, let's start off. How did we get into making games? Well, I started at a very young age, and I just really enjoyed playing video games all the time. So every time my parents would tell me to go outside and go play football, I'd be inside playing video games, Super Mario, Street Fighter, Zelda, games like that. And I remember when my dad bought me my first PC, and I broke it a couple of times, and then he had to pay to obviously fix it, and then I broke it again, and then I figured out how to fix it myself. So we're the kind of people who kind of learn by ourselves. We're pretty much self-taught, and we always learn a lot from home. And it was just the thing that we always wanted to do. We wanted to like make video games, and it would be the ideal, like I said, dream job to have. You know, just make video games and make sure that people like your games. So that's like a brief history about who we are. So when we first started out, especially me, used to make a lot of simple games, your shmups, your platformers, simple puzzle games, things like that. But it was never the games that I actually played, because I played a lot of more advanced games, action games, Zelda, like I said before, Street Fighter. And what I found is while making these games, even though you always have to start somewhere anyway, you always have to learn the basics before you actually dive into the deep end, I found that making these games was pretty daunting, because you're really excited when you're making this game. And then after a while, I found that I lost interest in the game that I was making simply because I wouldn't play it when I finished it. So I never finished these games. So it's fine. Well, I find it hard to basically carry on making games that I don't actually play. So that's how this was kind of born. And what actually happened? Well, Ater, because a lot of people ask us, how do you pronounce the name of the game? And it's Ater, but some people might say Eitr. But there's different pronunciations everywhere, but we use Ater. And you roll your tongue with the last R. And we were making this game called Jump Bros. And the reason why we were making this game is simply because, well, I got made redundant and I lost my job. And I used to work in a website company making websites. And I didn't find that fun at all. I just did it because I needed to get paid. And I lost my job, I got made redundant, and David and I were sitting down and we're thinking, do you know what? This might be our last chance for us to actually do something. It might be the last chance for us to actually get our dream job. It was, what's it called? We had reached rock bottom, basically. We were on housing benefits, and we had to basically struggle. But we thought, you know what? If we put all our heart and focus into making a particular game, we should be able to do it. But anyways, we're making this game called Jump Bros. And it was inspired by Flappy Bird. Because of the success of Flappy Bird, we thought, hey, we'll make Jump Bros, make a little bit of money, everything will be fine. It was a Black Mario that you play as on mobile, and you just basically play with one button. You jump around on a platformer, a simple one. And after making this game, I mean, it was funny, because we were looking at it and thinking, you know, people are going to find this hilarious. But then after a while, it's like, we're really not going to play this game. So we started to lose motivation, and then it ended up being on the hard drive. And And that was it. It just never existed anymore. And then we started watching this show called Vikings. And if you guys are familiar with it, that's why that woman's there, Lagatha, right? So watching the show called Vikings. And the show was like really inspiring. We binge watched it for like 3 days straight. And they had Lagatha, which was just, she wasn't like your typical like female character. She wasn't a damsel in distress. She wasn't a side character, but she had like a really strong role in the whole program. She had good combat skills, and she also had a voice, right? So we also wanted to make a game that had swords and shields, and she was a shield maiden, so it kind of just all fit together. She's got sword and shield maiden, all fit together. So the first prototype of the game, if you've never seen it before, was this Golden Axe style game, where you literally move left and right, but you have the stamina-based system in there. You can parry, you can block, you can throw some things. And that was our first concept. And then we moved on to trying to decide on what kind of mythology we wanted. Because the Vikings TV show was all based on Vikings, right? And everybody also thinks that Vikings are just Norse mythology, but it's not. Norse mythology is this whole world of different things, right? And it includes Vikings as well. So simply by doing our research on the internet, we found out there's so many things to pick from, and so many things that we can use that we can interpret in our own ways, and there's so many worlds we can recreate. And we're also playing a lot of games like Dark Souls, Diablo, a lot of Zelda, Fight Night, Street Fighter, and we liked all these systems in these games, and we wanted to basically take what we thought was good for us and put it into our own kind of game. And at first, we weren't actually going to call the game Ater, simply because, for one, it's very hard to pronounce. Well, it's not hard to pronounce, but some people don't know how to pronounce it. And it's very confusing because you don't know what it means. But at the same time, it also provides mystery to the game, simply because you don't know what it means. So that's why we decided, you know what, let's actually stick with the name Eitr and actually call the game Ater. And simply because we're only a two-man team, I'm the programmer, David Wright's the artist, we chose pixel art simply because we thought it was going to be simple. And we chose 2D simply because we thought it was going to be simple. We're going to be able to finish the game. So when we first started, this is what our characters used to look like. And that's the shield maiden on the left. And we now call her the UPS saleswoman simply because she wears brown. But over time, as David got better and better with pixel art, she started to evolve. Like the animations there are quite simple. They're quite Golden Axe style. And over at the bottom over there, you can see how her stance changes and her stance changes. And simply because this was generally like our last hope, we devoted probably about 16 hours a day in this game, trying to basically make sure that everything that we had was looking perfect. And we believe in hard work. We really believe in hard work. And we think that hard work actually does pay off. And obviously, after David got better and better and better, the pixel art started to improve, and now the game is ended up looking more like this. So we're really working hard to basically make sure that everything that we do makes our game stand out, especially with the art, because we feel that when your stuff looks good, it attracts a lot of people. But we also want to make sure that the game also plays good, because if it looks good, then you might get people buying it, but then if it doesn't play good, then people kind of give you bad reviews. So we just want to make sure that we both have a very good-looking game and a game that actually feels good to play. No one has ever seen that before, by the way. It's like one of our new stuff that we're showing just for today. So the reason why we're here now and everything seems to be going really well is because I think for us, this was a game that we would find ourselves even playing. Like if we weren't even making the game ourselves, it would be the kind of game that we would actually go out and play. And it was basically a love project. It was a project that we had so much passion for that we wanted to make sure that we loved it, and hopefully other people loved it as well. And we just liked the fact that there was all these other games that they had all these good systems in there, and we wanted to sort of take those systems and merge them into one and make something of our own out of that. So we don't go out to recreate the wheel, and I find that when indies are encouraged to make video games, they're kind of encouraged to be innovative and come up with new ideas that people have never seen before. But then you look at AAA studios and they don't do exactly the same thing. They generally just take stuff that already works and rinse and repeat. So we thought, why not take stuff that we already know that works and just make our own type of game out of that and put our stuff on top of it? So, for example, we don't have a leveling system in our game. We literally have a system called a favor system. It's a bit complicated, but when you get to play the game, you get it a little bit more. It's an item that you find. And if you find this item, you get a potent boost on your stats, so you're more powerful. However, if you die, you lose this favor. But you also have the choice to spend this favor in the town hub and apply it to one of your stats as a permanent increase, so you play it safe. So you've got the choice to either play it safe, or play it risky, or play it right in the middle. So it's almost like having hardcore mode on the fly. We're also trying some stuff with our skill trees, having randomly generated skill trees. It sounds bigger than it actually is. It's actually quite simple. It's just literally having items that you pick up that give you a different tree every time you pick it up. So you have the choice to decide what kind of character you have, and you also have the choice to swap out your characters on the fly as well. One thing that we found that worked really well with us was the fact that we didn't tell anybody about this game. This game was a complete secret to our friends and our family, simply because all the games we were making before, they were games that we would make something and then show someone just because we wanted that psychological feedback of, yeah, you're doing a good job. But this was the first time that no one knew that we were making this game, and it was generally just down to both of us. It was just about us and about the game and no one else. And we found that simply because we did that, it helped us push the game even more and also present it at a stage where we think it was actually more of a game than it was a prototype. And that's when we started showing it to friends, started showing it to family, started showing it to like a lot of TIGSOS forums, the Unity forums. And we obviously didn't expect much, because when you're making a game, well, when we're making a game anyway, it's very hard for you to judge if people, because you're on one side, right? You're on the other side this time. You're not on the side of the consumers, of somebody playing the game. You're actually the person making it, so it's hard for you to sort of look at it and think, is it good? I mean, you think it's good, but does everybody else like it? So we put it out there, and a lot of people started to comment on our forums, and everybody was like, oh, this looks great, this looks really, really good. And for the first time in a long time, we were actually thinking, wow, people actually like this game. This is actually something that people would actually play. And our reactions was basically like, we didn't think it was going to happen, but generally everybody was like, this actually looks pretty cool. Like, we actually want to play this. And I think it's because we took our time with it and only showed it at a phase where we thought, this is good enough to actually show people. Then time went on, and we made a gameplay video. I won't call it a trailer, it was about 6 minutes long. We made this video, put it up, and it was literally just to showcase people on the forums, like, this is what the game looks like in motion, because everybody had seen screenshots and seen GIFs. And when we put that up, it kind of spiraled out of control, and a lot of people were like, oh, you need to check out this video by this game, you have to look at this game, it looks really, really cool. Then we started our social networking sites, and we used to post GIFs, because we believe that when you post a screenshot, it doesn't say as much as actually posting the GIF. If you post a GIF, it's more attractive, people catch it as soon as they see it. So we used to post GIFs all the time, and somebody wrote an article about us saying that, you know, our marketing strategy is really, really good, but we didn't have a marketing strategy. We just literally just posted GIFs all the time, and that was just what we did. It was like, yay, somebody thinks we have a marketing strategy, all good. And then PC Gamer wrote about our article, and I remember going nuts in my room. I was sitting in my room just browsing the internet. We have this thing called looping, where you type Ater into Google, and you keep on refreshing. You type into Twitter, you keep on refreshing, just to see what people are saying about it, because we wanted to make sure that people liked it. And I saw an article about PC Gamer, and apparently he'd been following us for quite a while, and he wrote an article about us, and it was a very good article. And then things started to basically start to happen. Like, we got these guys called Surprise Attack Games who got in contact with us, who then recommended us to Sony. Sony then said, hey, come into our headquarters. And then they checked out the game. That was very nerve-wracking, very, very nerve-wracking. But they liked the game. And then all of a sudden, Devolver Digital got in contact with us. And at this point, we were actually going to do a Kickstarter, because a lot of people were saying, are you going to do a Kickstarter? And we said, yeah, probably, because it seems like the direct route to go. But the problems that we find, because we're absolutely terrified of Kickstarter, because we're only 2 people, so after doing your Kickstarter, you have to manage all like your marketing, you have to manage your events, you have to manage everything else, and all we really want to do is just make a game. We don't want to do all this other stuff. So going with a publisher was like definitely ideal for us, because they can handle all the outside stuff, and we can just concentrate on making the game that we actually want to make. And then things started to roll, so we signed with Devolver Digital, which is probably the happiest day of my life. Then we went to E3, because I used to watch E3 all the time on the internet, on YouTube, live stream, and thinking, oh, it'd be so cool to actually go to E3. Went to E3, and there was a Devolver Digital press reel, and our game came up on there, and that was pretty cool. And then our trailer came out, and in like roughly about 2 days, our trailer hit 200,000 views in 2 days, and we were thinking that is pretty good for us. Like, I never thought that would happen, but it hit about 200,000 views in 2 days. Then we went to Cologne for Gamescom, which is pretty cool as well, because then you get people playing your game and actually enjoying themselves and saying really positive things about your game. And then now we're at EGX, which is also pretty cool, because having the public come and play your game is completely different to having media come and play your game, because the public is pretty much very blunt. So some people have literally come round, picked up the game, died, got up and left. And then some people have come round, played the game, and have stayed there for hours. So it's really good to see that, because then at least you get some confirmation that at least you're doing something good. And that is pretty much the end of the Ater talk. So thank you for paying attention, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely awesome. We've got time for a couple of questions, if anybody has any. If you do have any, there's a microphone just there, and form a nice queue behind it. How's it gone down on the show floor, first of all? Has it been?
It's going really well. It's going really well. Our boss, I think, is a bit too hard, because even I struggled to beat it, but I finally beat it. But it's going really well. People are actually enjoying it. People are actually liking it. People are getting to meet us as well and see the developers behind it. So it's cool. It's pretty cool.
Has anyone beat the boss yet?
One guy nearly did. He got to 32%. I need to find him, though, to give him a Steam key, because I think he's and we like to have some beta testers as well, so I need to find him. But no one's beaten it yet.
Okay, well, before we go, I guess we should just point out it's coming to PC and PS4?
PC and PlayStation 4 in 2016.
Cool. If you hadn't had a chance to play it, run and play it now. I really recommend it. It's absolutely awesome. So yeah, we'll wrap up there. Thank you so much, Toby.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for coming along.
Cheers. Cheers.